You know what's crazy to me? The fact that Togashi, what I'm looking at right here, he has 2 million followers. And just to make sure we're all on the same page here, this man started posting on the 24th. It is the 26th. It's been about like 2 days. And this man has made a brand new account on the 24th and straight up has 2 million followers. If that does not speak for the popularity of Hunter x Hunter and the anticipation for Hunter x Hunter and just the fan base, etc., I don't know what else does. Like, I truly have never seen a Twitter account ever grow to such an extent, especially circulating around a manga slash anime series. That is just absolutely insane. So just compliments to to Togashi Sensei. Like, seriously, compliments to him, because just to see the fact that how big his account is already just is a testament to how many people have been patiently waiting for like 4 years now for some form of information on Hunter x Hunter. But with that little quick bit out of the way, let's talk about a few things, because obviously you clicked on this video for, stuff about Hunter x Hunter. You clicked on this video for whatever I'm talking about in the title. So, Togashi, 17 hours ago, he posted this picture, which has a 7 on it, and to make sure I remind everybody, the first picture he really posted on the account was this, with a 6 on it. So you're probably wondering, okay, it's numbered. Well, looking at how manga format is, remember, it's read from right to left, that's how the pages work. So most likely this right here is page 6, and this is page 7 of a chapter he's probably working on. Now, to clarify a few things, what he said here in his original tweet, he says 4 more episodes for the time being. So I think what he means by that, because obviously this is Google Translate, can be lost in translation, I'm assuming he means 4 more pages until a chapter is done, or he could be saying that he already has 6 chapters done, and he's working on the last 4 chapters before he releases it. There's many ways to interpret this. I'm going to assume, judging by just the way this looks with a 6 here, and then you go to, like the 7, the newest one, it looks like pages, just a part of the same chapter. But who knows? Togashi is known for releasing batches. Like, if there's one thing I've seen over the years, I think anyone can agree with me when it comes to Togashi and his format and how he releases manga chapters. He always releases enough chapters for a manga volume, like to just, compile it into a new Hunter x Hunter manga volume, and then he goes on hiatus. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to instantly go on hiatus. I don't want to put that bad mojo out in the air and instantly assume Togashi is going to go on hiatus as soon as he finishes maybe 7 to 10 chapters of Hunter x Hunter. But I will say, though, he does release batches. That's what he's always done. It is something he's done in recent times. So it is very likely that this is very far into production, and he is going to release a batch amount of chapters. So we'll see. We'll find out as, we get closer and closer. But it's clear as day, though, judging by how this is a 7, and when he had a 6 here, and he says, like, 4 more left, I'm going to assume he's very, very close to releasing a chapter, at the very least. I would say in maybe the next month, maybe a month and a half, we'll probably have some form of news of a Hunter x Hunter chapter, coming out. I feel like something like that is bound to happen at this point. But obviously, there's more to this than that I want to talk about. And it's this photo I've been kind of going up and down on, this tree. So, okay. I know people looking at this, or it's gonna be like, what? It's a tree. Togashi drew a tree. Okay, that's what everybody's gonna instantly just look at. They're gonna just look at this and be like, okay, the man drew a tree. Cool. Okay. I mean, fine. I mean, at least we're getting some progress, and that is something to praise. But the thing about this is if you're up to date with, Hunter x Hunter, the manga, and you know where the Secession War is at with the story, etc., you'll know that this very tree, this entity that we see, this image, this preview pretty much of a chapter that Togashi is working on for Hunter x Hunter, this is very peculiar, because our characters are stuck on a boat. They're on a giant whale boat. And there is no forest around on this boat. Now, obviously, there's speculation you can throw out here with it. I'll talk more about that in a second. But one of the things that my mind instantly gravitated towards when I saw this tree, I was like, why of all things? Like, if anything that Togashi could, like, showcase, okay? Out of any picture that he could post here on social media to get people anticipated, hyped up, what would be one thing that would make people excited? The Dark Continent. Think about it. the Dark Continent, as we know here, I'm going to pull this up here for you guys can see, is this vast world. And our known world of Hunter x Hunter is right here, and this vast world is here. They're just in a lake. A very big lake, our main cast of characters, and they're trying to journey to the Dark Continent. And what better way to really hype people up than to release a spoiler image of the Dark Continent. Now, things get a little bit more interesting when you look at this photo. So if you look closely, once again, it's a tree. Okay, but look closely behind the scenes. If you look closely, you'll see maybe some textures of grass there, because it's a very blurry image. I feel like that's definitely intentional from Togashi. And if you look even further back, you'll see some trees, some giant trees in the background. Now, once again, the perspective of this is very skewed. You don't know exactly how massive this tree is. You don't know exactly how far up of an angle we are on this tree. But obviously, it's a very old tree when you just look at the structure, the integrity of it. And if we look at, let's say, the Dark Continent, look, we have a tree there. We know there's world trees all out there in the Dark Continent. But there's something even more interesting, and I know you can see it at the top here. Bryon. So this guy is, as we know, one of the 5 threats that is on each individual border of the lake and all that, the different teams that went to explore the Dark Continent discovered. And Bryon has some very interesting history I want you to actually, listen to. So when the United States of Saharata sent their elite forces into an expedition to the Dark Continent, they went through the north of Lake Mobius and ended up in a sea of trees. After entering that for 40 kilometers, they found the ruins of an ancient city with a mysterious labyrinth. It was there that they found some herbs able to cure 10,000 different illnesses. They met Bryon, the guardian of the ruins, that destroyed them effortlessly, leaving only 2 survivors. Now, what's very distinct about this description, I think you already keyed in on it, is the sea of trees. That is a very distinct description. And when I look at this, this thing, it looks like a sea of trees. Look in the background, you'll see a bunch of trees, and you'll see a giant tree here. And once again, we don't know from the perspective and the scaling of this if it's something like, the Dark Continent. We can't tell. So, I'm under the impression that this might be somewhere in that area, or at least in the Dark Continent, and this might be a world tree. Now, obviously, there's other ways to, subvert this and go a different direction, and I know many people are definitely going to mention it. They're like, okay, Chibi, this might not be the Dark Continent. This could be, a Nin ability. Like, yes, definitely. We have definitely seen throughout Hunter x Hunter characters demonstrate dimension-like abilities, being able to create dimensions or pocket dimensions of different things. We have seen it. We have seen it throughout the story of Hunter x Hunter. Even the anime has elements of this. So, it's not, I guess, left field to assume that maybe some form of Nin user can create a forest. Okay, fine. I understand that one. And also, it's not left field to think that the Nin beasts that, have been very active in the Session War could potentially create something like this. That's also not left field. But once again, I don't believe Togashi would just give us a picture of a tree. Like a tree. Out of everything he can send and put out, he could have done Kurapika, he could have done any of the spiders, he could have done Hisoka, he could have done anything. But he gives us a picture of a tree. Very vague, just a tree. And that's what stands out to me. The fact that he did that, when the only thing that we know of when it comes to trees, the first thought your mind's going to gravitate towards is the Dark Continent. So we gotta assume, hypothetically, if this really is the Dark Continent, what does this mean for the Secession War? Because obviously when we look at the Secession War here, I'm showing you real quick, what's already happened within the story within 20 to 30 chapters has been insane. There is so much dialogue, so much world building, so much characterization, development, reveals, to Nin abilities, to character interactions, and it's just now really being dived in upon. I mean, you could just see for yourself, this is just a wiki, and look at just how heavy in dialogue this is for like 20 to 30 chapters of this arc. It is absolutely insane just how much content has happened in the Secession War arc. And so when you take just a look at everything that's on screen, you just see how much has happened. I'm still scrolling. That's just how ridiculous this arc is. You would assume, okay, if we're going to be seeing the Dark Continent, how in the hell is the Secession War arc going to be basically concluded? And that's the funny thing about all this. I don't think it will. Like, okay, I feel like Togashi might be doing some trickery here. For instance, I feel like what he's showcasing here is maybe we might get a sneak peek in a chapter. We might get like a brief showcasing of what's ever going on, like a new development or something within the Dark Continent. That's a possibility. It also could be something to where maybe a character, because it's not left field to think about, a character has a portal of some kind, like a nin ability like portal, to be able to create a portal to the Dark Continent. That is definitely not something out of the realm of possibility with nin abilities. Or maybe our characters have a brief time skip and they land on the coast somehow, and then the Secession War arc continues on the coast. But obviously, when we just take a look at everything, it's very clear that for Togashi to post something like this, to post a freaking tree out of anything, like he could have posted Kurapika, he could have posted Hisoka, he could have posted the spiders, he could have posted anything. He legitimately could have posted anything at all, and it would have hinted at maybe the Secession War. But one thing he decides to post is a tree. He posts a freaking tree. That's it. And when you just take a look at this, the only thing that makes sense when the audience has been waiting for chapters of Hunter x Hunter for years, it feels like the Dark Continent, because that's what people have been anticipating for. They've been wanting to see what the Dark Continent has to offer, since apparently these entities, these threats, are stronger than literally the Chimera Ants themselves. Meruem. So that is absolutely ridiculous. So it makes sense that maybe he's hinting or implying, yeah, we're going to be getting into the Dark Continent. Now, there's a few things I do want to point out, though, also with this image I have neglected to talk about, and that is the fact, if you look down at the bottom here, it's not shaded in. There's like nothing really going on there. It looks like water. It looks like water. And I'm going to go back to Bryon, one of the threats. Sea of trees. So that can imply multiple things. It can imply just so many trees that it's a sea, but also the trees are in a sea. And once again, since we don't understand the scale of this image, it could just be looking downward at a tree with a scale-wise, because once again, the Dark Continent scale, with like some of these images, you can't really get a full grasp on the scale of things until like it's zoomed out. And so it's very likely that that's water right there, like a sea, and then that's like maybe some landscape down there below with some grass, and then there's more giant trees in the background. So this could theoretically be the Dark Continent. Now, one thing, too, I want to say is that it just shows to the testament, though, of Hunter x Hunter, that there can be just so much community interaction, so much theories and world building from this series, and how big of a following he has in just a few days. It really just shows how popular Hunter x Hunter is. It's ridiculous. I have never seen a series boost and talked like this by people in just a few days, from just a few pages released. So one thing I want to kind of wrap this video up on, though, is the fact that Togashi is being very transparent, more transparent than I think he ever has. And I want to point something out, by the way. Here, he has an X Hunter, and you can see Hunter below there. It shows, once again, if you didn't believe it, this really is Togashi, even though Murata pretty much confirmed it the first day. If you were still skeptical, like you speculate that this might not be Togashi, you know, yeah, it's Togashi. It's 100% him. And so, it's strange how transparent Togashi is being, because when you just look at this, it's like he's never actually been so transparent before. I think he's always been kind of like a hermit ever since he really started writing manga. So when I take a look at this, I'm just like, holy crap, you know what? Like, what's going on here? So it's wild. It's absolutely wild, honestly, to just see something like this. Like, when you take a look at, like, just these images here, you can see this is Togashi's, you know, like, sketches, how he does stuff. So yeah, I really like seeing it. I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention about, you know, Togashi's tree and how it's probably the Dark Continent. But yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. You all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Chibi out.